Good morning, Coach Kelly here with an encouraging word, and I have a question for you. Are you leveraging the power of proof of progress when it comes to goal achievement in your life? My talk today is inspired by and dedicated to Tate McCraney. Tate and his wife Phyllis are two of my very best clients. They've been with me for about 3 years now. I will be forever grateful for them. They have been an anchor and a bedrock in my business. They train with me 2 days a week. And this was about a week or so ago that Tay and I were finishing up one of his sessions. It was right towards the end. And he made the comment that, if I could just do better getting in my daily walk and stay out of the sugar bowl, I think I would do better with, my weight loss goal. So just to give you a little bit of background, Tay is a giant of a man. He is 6'5". He is ginormous. He struggled with his weight for years. Sugar is his kryptonite, as it is for so many people. But he also struggles with getting in enough activity outside of our 2 weekly workouts. So he does his best to take a walk every day, but depending on the weather, depending on how he feels, doctor's appointments, other social things, he doesn't always get that walk in. And I said, Tay, I have a concept for you. And he said, okay. I said, it's called proof of progress. We humans are driven by proof of progress. If the why or the goal is compelling enough, we will run through brick walls if we have proof of progress that we are actually, making headway on the stated goal. Now, that's a principle that I learned a number of years ago, but my favorite example of that is is actually an article that I read about Jerry Seinfeld a few years ago. And the interviewer asked Jerry if you could name one thing at the beginning of your career that was just a critical element in helping you getting started with your career, what would it be? And Jerry said, my calendar. And the interviewer thought about it for a second, and he wasn't getting it. So he said, all right, explain. Jerry said, well, it's simple. When I first started out, my goal was to write every day. And I had a big wall calendar in my apartment. And every day that I wrote, it was X on the calendar. He says, some days I wrote gold, really good stuff. Some days I wrote crap, wasn't worth the paper that it was, on. But he said, that wasn't the goal. The goal was to write every day. And every day that I wrote, X on the calendar. And he said, it got to be a game after a period of time that I had such a string of X's going that even on the days that I didn't feel like writing, and there were days that I didn't feel like writing, there was no way I was breaking that string of X's. And so I wrote. That silly little mind game that I used to play with my calendar, that produced the discipline, which produced the volume of work that I was able to mine the gold that was the springboard, the launch pad for my career. So in modern lingo, that's called gamification. It's taking gamesmanship, technology, and mindset, literally from video games, and applying it to a process that might not otherwise be so much fun, like learning a foreign language. Duolingo is one of the most successful language learning systems in the world, and they use in their promotional information, they advertise that they actually use gamification. Now, as a personal user, I've spent many an hour working on my Espanol and Portuguese, and I can tell you it's quite addictive. I've worked many hours at it, but it really does work. So back to Tay. I said, Tay, we need to get you a big calendar. And I would say put it in the kitchen. You'll see it every day. Every day that you get your walk in, X. And I would say that the walking X is one color. And then when you stay out of the sugar bowl for the day, you get to put an X in a different color. That way you get a double win. It's very obvious for the day. And then day after day after day after day, as you see your sweat equity build and your success build, your willpower will go up. Your resolve will go up. Your self-discipline will increase. Your ability to say yes to walking and no to the sugar bowl will get stronger and stronger and stronger. And like he was all in. He was buying into this. So what about you? What can you take away from what I shared this morning? So let's consider a goal that you're working on. You have to break it down to the most fundamental steps that you're taking on a daily basis. Now, depending on the complexity of the goal, there may be half a dozen things or more that have to come to fruition for the goal to be, totally complete. I suggest that you only work on 3 things at a time, or really give priority focus on 3 things at a time. Anything more than that, and you spread yourself so thin that you become less than effective. So let's say you're trying to lose 25 pounds. There has to be an exercise component. There has to be a nutrition component, and I would recommend a recovery component. So the exercise could be 3 days a week of strength training, 3 days a week of cardio, and I would say day 7 is active recovery. No going to the gym. Sometimes I have to force my clients, you cannot work out today. You have to go rest, go do something active, but just no going to the gym. So there's validity to that. You do have to rest. And then, so the nutrition goal could be eating enough protein every day, eating your veggies every day, drinking enough water every day, taking your multivitamins every day. And then the recovery goal is pretty simple. Commit to a time at night that you're going to go to bed, lights out, no more electronics, that at least you give yourself the chance to get in 7 hours or more of sleep. Anything less than 7, you're slipping into sleep deprivation. I promise you it'll impact you physically for the negative in every aspect. So that's it. Execute, track, execute, track for a week. At the end of the week, it's gut check time. So look back over how consistent were you with your activities. Now, if you miss days, that's your first opportunity for improvement is to get 100%. Now, beyond that, you got to measure. Are we actually making progress on the goal? So with a weight loss goal, at least one of your tools is going to be a scale. What's the scale saying? It's just information. But if you're making progress, keep going. If you're not making progress, it's probably you're going to need to tweak your process. Process says it's probably going to be the nutrition that's going to give you the biggest bang for the buck, and that's it. So execute, track, execute, track. Gut check on the weekend, tweak your process as needed, repeat, repeat, repeat. So let's go back to the beginning. Proof of progress. As you go week after week after week, and you see that the work that you're putting in, and you start to see the results, I promise you, you put those two things together, that will raise your level of belief higher and higher and higher to the point that you become unstoppable. I have several clients who are unstoppable. They have so much momentum built up because of the progress that they've made, regardless if they still had me to encourage them or not, they would be fine. And that's what I want for you. I hope this helps. Have a great day. If you have any questions, reach out. I promise to reply. I look forward to sharing with you again soon.